If you are watching this, you might be an angel. The year was 1985. I was visiting my grandmother, Grandma Wilma, Elk City, Oklahoma, in the nursing home with my mother and father. I was about 12. She was in there, had been for many years because she had Alzheimer's. She had some sort of a medical issue that day, and my parents exited the room, leaving me there alone with Grandma Wilma. She had not remembered anyone for years, basically spent her last days staring at the ceiling, making groaning sounds. Quite frankly, I was horrified. She kind of popped back to life, would be the way I described it, and said, "There's my little Johnny boy, my angel from heaven." Shortly after that, she died. Those were her last words to me. As I aged in life and entered into adulthood, I did find myself having many conversations that were peculiar and deep in nature. I never understood why me. It all came to head a few decades later, starting in 2019. I gave a talk at a power company on work-life harmony. I had to get home back to where I lived. There had been a hurricane earlier that week, and it was a very tight schedule. As I was leaving the event, one of the attendees ran up. Her name was Grace, and said, "I know you're in a hurry. Please just yell at me your phone number. I want to mail you a gift." That was a great talk. I yelled it out. Got to the airport, made it back on time. Ultimately, she mailed me a book that was near and dear to her heart. Fast forward, about 3 to 4 years later, I was having a very long day at work. Essentially, it was like 8 in the morning till 5 p.m. straight. And I was really like wishing I had a gap. I had smoked some ribs the day before and wanted some leftovers. One of my most reliable clients, Ben, right before 11 said, "The strangest thing just happened. I'm not going to be able to make it." I said, "No problem. We will reschedule." And I am talking 11 o'clock right on the dot. I get a text message after all these years from Grace. If it had been any other time of the day, she would have got the, "Sorry, I'm busy. Here are some options for us to connect," calendar link. I thought long and hard about ignoring the text and going to eat some ribs, but I felt this deep yearning inside that I needed to call her back. It basically said, "Are you available to talk for a few minutes?" I rung up the number. I said, "Great God day, Grace. What do I have the honor of hearing from you after all these years?" And all I heard on the other line was pretty heavy crying. After she gathered herself, I said, "Grace, what are you crying for?" Her beloved husband had died. And I am sitting there going, I don't even know this person. How am I on a conversation with them right now? In fact, I felt some shame, like I'm not worthy. And it finally came around to, I offered my condolences. How can I help? And I straight up told her, I said, "Grace, I think the only person that can help you in this moment is Jesus himself." And I suggested, while I was happy to talk to her, that maybe, just maybe, she needed to reach out to him. She kind of came alive, in a sense, and said, "I did go to Jesus first." And I was just so happy she said it, because I didn't know what to say. And I said to her, I go, "Well, what did Jesus tell you?" And she said, and I quote, "She told me to reach out to you. He told me to reach out to you. You are an angel here on earth. And I already know there's going to be some haters in the comments who go, no, that's not how it works. I'm holier than the Pope. But that's what happened. So take it however you want to take it. But I immediately, it had been 40 years earlier in that conversation with my grandmother and all of these other randos that, had happened throughout the decades. I broke down crying because personally I believe it's probably true. I have this love for people and animals that I've never been able to understand, and patience, etc. But eventually we talked it out, and I told her I believe the only way to make suffering go away is to create meaning from it, and she said that was exactly why she had contacted me. And she told me she was pondering starting something called the Widow's Mite from that biblical story. But in her case, she wanted to help other fellow widows around the world find their mite again because their lives aren't over. Now, impulsively, I said, well, I got to tell you, as your angel, it sounds like a great idea, but I will take it to prayer, and I will let you know what happens. My last client of the day is a big CEO of a giant company, and I immediately was commanded by God that I needed to tell him during the call, and I said, I don't want to do that, God. It's a huge part of my business, and he's going to think I'm batshit crazy, and that would not be good for business. And God said, I'll never make you do anything, but I know you will. And I just laugh because God is the only one who knows how to talk to us. So I get on the call with Andy, and I go, great God day, Andy, you're not going to believe this one. And I tell him the story, at which point he drops off the Zoom screen, and I start screaming, thinking this guy had a stroke or something. My wife rushes in the room. I tell her, how do we call 911 for Colorado? And right about then, Andy pops back up. There's the company. There is the letter he wrote me. And he was holding this. I was relieved. He said, my mail person brought me my mail today. There was a package in there. I thought maybe it was a gift, so I opened it up, and I thought to myself, why in the world did someone mail me a widow's mite? And now you're telling me this story. I pondered it. I asked God. I said, why have you revealed this to me? And there was two conclusions. My role in life was to help people know that they were loved and love was enough. Or the second, I meant to help other people that I come in contact with realize they are an angel. I don't know what brought you to this video today. I probably never will. But if you're watching it, you might just be an angel. And if you look around the world, we need those really badly. Have a great God day, and give this channel a follow.